Hello everyone, welcome to TTV News with some latest events in Tây Ninh province. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, on April 16, Chairman of Tây Ninh Provincial People's Committee issued the official letter 785 on continuing to strengthen the strict implementation of Directive number 16 of the Prime Minister until the end of April 22, 2020.
Accordingly, the Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee requests heads of the provincial departments and branches, Chairman of the People's Committees of the district, towns and city to drastically and effectively implement the following key tasks. Continuing to strictly implement Directive number 16 of the Prime Minister, Directive number 5 of the Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, and guiding documents of the central government, the Provincial Party Committee, and the People's Committee on the Prevention and Control of COVID-19 epidemic, especially focusing on directing to serious and effectively implement the Prime Minister policies on social distancing in the whole province until April 22, 2020. People are urged to remain indoors and only leave the house in case of absolute necessities. Strictly observe the minimum distance of 2 meters when communicating. Do not gather more than 2 people outside the workplace, schools, hospitals, and in public places. State offices, workshops, factories, companies, and enterprises must ensure a safe working distance for employees. Request them to wear masks and disinfect according to regulations. Heads of enterprises, production facilities, and goods and service business establishments are responsible for applying epidemic prevention and control measures at their facilities, ensuring the health and safety for laborers. Continue to hold service activities across the province to prevent and control COVID-19 in accordance with official letter number 595 of March 26, 2020 of the Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee until the end of April 22, 2020. Heads of state agencies and units, except for branches and forces, health, police, military, border patrol, and customs, arrange 50% of carriers, civil servants, and public employees using information technology to work alternately at home. Those who are working at home must catch up with the schedule and quality of work, be ready to work when summoned, strengthen online meeting organization. Public transportation is asked to continue temporarily halting on activities, minimize people coming from the epidemic area, except special cases. Cargo transportation still operates as normal, but it is necessary to apply disease prevention and control measures as recommended by the health sector. The Vietnam Fatherland Front Committee of the province and social political organizations are asked to continue coordinating to well implement the propaganda among youth union members and the locals to participate in the prevention and fight against epidemic, promoting the role of residential areas, self-governing population groups and people's patrol teams, participate in monitoring the implementation of support policies for those affected by COVID-19 epidemic under the government's resolution. In addition, this official letter also clearly states the responsibilities of functional agencies, people's committees of district, towns, and city to implement the Prime Minister Directive 16 and Directive 5 of the Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee.
On the 16th of April, the online conference with the participation of representatives of the Provincial People's Committee departments, People's Committee of District, Towns and City was held at the meeting hall of the Provincial People's Committee, reviewing the results after 15 days of implementing Directive number 16 of the Prime Minister dated March 31, 2020 on the implementation of urgent measures against COVID-19 is one of many important contents of the meeting.
At the bridge point in the meeting hall of the Provincial People's Committee, there were the Secretary of the Provincial People's Committee Phạm Viết Thành, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee Phạm Văn Tân, and Vice Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee. The online meeting also had the participation of the bridge points of the Provincial Party Committee, People's Committee of Districts, towns and cities in the province. So far, Tây Ninh province has been proactive and well controlling the epidemic and has not detected disease spreading in the community yet. The Provincial People's Committee has also issued a 4-level response plan under the guidance of the Ministry of Health, establishing quick response teams and mobile treatment teams, fully equipped equipment necessary conditions to cope with each stage, each level of the epidemic. Authorities have also regularly reviewed and grasped the information of people going to from other localities, especially people passing the epidemic-affected area, to closely monitor, implement medical declarations, and take measures strictly in accordance with regulations and instructions of Ministry of Health. Currently, the province has recorded 3 cases of COVID-19 infection. In particular, the patients number 117 and 118 have been recovered, while the patient 252 continue to be monitored for treatment. Currently, the health status of these 3 patients is stable.
The Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control of Đăng, bằng recently granted the certificates of isolation completion for COVID-19 prevention for 86 people isolated at Thành High School, Phường, Commune. This group of isolated people are Vietnamese citizens returned from Cambodia and put into centralized isolation from the 1st of April. After 14 days, 68 citizens were in stable health and tested negative for SARS-CoV-2. The town steering committee has arranged to bring these citizens to their residence. After 2 periods of implementing centralized isolation at 2 secondary schools and Thành High School, so far Đăng, bằng has handed over 227 citizens to complete the isolation period with negative results for SARS-CoV-2 returning to their localities. The officials and soldiers working in the isolation area have conducted environmental disinfection spray and are ready to accept the next task. Establishing a steering committee on removing difficulties and obstacles for production and business, promoting disbursements of public investment, and the implementation of investment projects in the province. This is one of the contents approved by the Tây Ninh Provincial People's Committee at its online meeting in the morning of April 16, 2020.
The online meeting was organized with the participation of representatives of departments and agencies, people's committees of districts, towns and cities to discuss tasks and solutions to remove difficulties for productions and business, promote disbursement of public investment, supporting workers, ensuring social security, social order and safety amid the COVID-19 epidemic outbreak. Leaders of units and localities reported on the fight against the epidemic, their difficulties, proposals and recommendations for handling problems. Meanwhile, departments and branches presented their tasks and solutions to remove difficulties and give supporting measures. Speaking at the meeting, Mr. Phạm Thành, Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, highly appreciated the participation of all levels and sectors in the prevention and control of the COVID-19 and proposed to change the way of working in accordance with the current situation. In the conclusion speech, Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee and Head of the Steering Committee for Disease Prevention and Control COVID-19, Mr. Phạm asked the units to acquire the instruction of the Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, not neglecting in disease prevention. Mr. Phạm said that the Provincial People's Committee agreed to set up a steering committee to remove difficulties and obstacles for production and business, accelerate the disbursement of public investment, and the implementation of investment projects in the province. Mr. Phạm also stated a number of requirements for some departments, including the State Bank of Vietnam, Tây Ninh branch, Department of Finance and Tech Departments of the province, for Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and Department of Industry and Trade. The provincial chairman requested the 2 units to regularly monitor the situation of production and circulation of agricultural products in the locality, promptly notify the situation of the enterprises and procedures so that they can actually adjust their production plans and demands of the consumer market, seriously implement implement urgent solutions to boost agroforestry and fishery production, promote export and domestic consumption of agricultural products amidst the COVID-19 epidemic outbreak and negative impacts of weather.
The delegation of the Military Region 7 led by Lieutenant General Trần Hoài Trung, Political Commissioner of Military Region, visited and presented gifts to the border guard stations and field posts participating in the prevention and control of the COVID-19 epidemic on the borderline of Tây Ninh province.
The delegation visited and presented gifts at the border guard stations on Mộc Samat International Border Gate and Phước Tân Border Guard Station, as well as some field posts in two districts of Tân Biên and Châu Thành of Tây Ninh province. Commanders of the units reported on the results of the implementation of COVID-19 epidemic prevention and control and directions in the coming time, as well as advantages and difficulties in implementing tasks, proposals, and recommendations of the units. The Political Commissioner of Military Region 7 raised the results that officers and soldiers of Tây Ninh province have achieved in recent time and hope that they can overcome difficulties to fulfill their assigned tasks. Lieutenant General Trần Hoài Trung affirmed that Tây Ninh province has a very important strategic position in terms of military as well as economic development, sharing a 240-kilometer borderline with the Kingdom of Cambodia, so the management of illegal entrance and access to prevent epidemic in the current period is very difficult and very important. Successfully implementing the prevention of epidemic from the volunteer line will play an important role in the fight against disease in localities, in particular, and the whole countries in general.
On the 16th of April, Tây City Youth Union also visited and presented gifts to the officers and soldiers participating in the fight against the COVID-19 epidemic on the borderline. At Long Thuận Khăm Mun, Open Cầu District, the delegation visited checkpoints under the authority of Border Guard Station of Mộc International Border Gate, stationed along the Border Patrol Road. During the visit, the youth and youth union members graciously asked after the soldiers' health, encouraged and shared difficulties shortages of the officers and soldiers. The delegation also presented gifts to the soldiers, including rice, bottled water, canned foods, nutritional supplements, etc., worth a total of 5 million Vietnam dong. This is the heart of the youth of Tây Ninh City. Members of youth union branches of Mobile Police Department of Tây Ninh Police sent to the officers and soldiers with the desire to support and join hands with the officers and soldiers to push back the COVID-19 epidemic. That's all for today, TTV News. Thank you for being with us and goodbye.